Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and hopefully you've seen yesterday's video which announced that Tier 9 premium tanks are going to be a part of the game starting from tomorrow, with the first, the STRV K, being released in the Spirit of War challenge. That's right, Wargaming have teamed up with Sabaton once again to be able to create the Swedish tank of your dreams. You're going to be able to get it in two flavors, one with this armored style, fairly plain, or alternatively, if you manage to complete Chapter 2, which you can see a tank preview through here, then you're going to get yourself a super special Spirit of War style. And this really does make this thing look pretty cool. It's got headlights on the front, the shining kind of Sabaton armor on the back, as we can see here, sort of as if it was like a medieval armor set, and it does glow pretty cool from certain angles. And we can even see that the tank does have these cool effects. They're kind of glowing golden, almost as if you're going up to the halls of Valhalla or on the wings of the Valkyrie on the back of this tank. And of course, yeah, Sabaton's in it as well. So look, if you want to know my opinion on Tier 9 premium tanks and why I really don't think that they were necessary or even going to be good for the game's economy, go check out the video yesterday. Today's video is going to be all about the mission marathon, letting you know how difficult it's going to be, and spoilers, this is going to be the hardest mission marathon of all time, and giving you my tips and tricks for being able to get through the stages. And tomorrow, I'll be releasing a full tank review of the STRV K, so you can see if it's worth suffering through the grind or ponying up your cash to be able to get it. So the Spirit of War challenge doesn't change too much with regards to how long you have to complete it from the previous challenges. It will start tomorrow, the 27th of August, and it will end on Sunday, the 5th of September, giving you 10 days to be able to try and get through the 10 different stages. So now I'm just going to get everybody up to speed who doesn't know about Wargaming's challenges. Every stage you complete gives you a 10% discount off the tank, and you're also going to get yourself a series of goodies. There are two ways to be able to complete the challenge. One is to do the missions for mastery, which require you to play Tier 9 or Tier 10 tanks and be able to do something special inside the battle. Alternatively, you can do the mission for commitment. This requires you to play a Tier 6 tank or above and finish in the top 10 experience on your team, and your base experience is added up until you've managed to grind enough XP to be able to complete the stage. But be warned that the requirements go up and up and up. So in true QuickyBaby fashion, to make it easier for you to be able to see how much experience there are, all the different stages and all of the rewards, I've outputted it into Excel. On the left here, I estimate how long it will take me to be able to grind through the missions for mastery, and I'm going to do it as if I was playing well on my main account. On the right-hand side, you see how long it would take me to be able to grind through on my free-to-play account the missions for commitment. Then over on the right of the document here, we see the credit rewards at each stage. And keep in mind that I've broken down all of the equipment to its base selling price, because hopefully all of you should be buying your equipment at half price anyway, and hopefully have a few in stock for your vehicles. So firstly, let's talk about the rewards. And Wargaming have actually been quite generous with the rewards. There aren't any bond directives that you would have managed to receive in the previous challenges. But with regards to the credit income that you're going to be receiving for completing the different stages, it is definitely up. With the total credit income, if you manage to complete all of the stages, up at 2.63 million. That's if you sell all of the consumables and all of the equipment. One thing that I like but also dislike that Wargaming are giving us is, well, let's talk about the things I don't like first. That is that they've made all of the bonus experience for crew and for free experience and regular experience just worse than it was previously. I think in all of the previous challenges, they gave you 300% boosters. Now they're only giving you 200% boosters. However, we can see the return of credit boosters. You can actually get some credit boosters at stage 4, and you can also get some credit boosters for completing stage 8. So that will give you 8 hours of bonus credits, and considering this is the first Tier 9 premium tank, which is all about making credits and making bonds, that'll be a real nice boost there. The other thing that I like, that Wargaming are actually giving us more premium days this time. They're giving us a premium day for completing stage 4. They're giving us a premium day for completing stage 7 and also completing stage 8. And they're giving us 3 premium days for completing stage 9. Now that's very interesting for me, because why would they be giving you 3 premium days at stage 9 when the final stage only takes 10 hours? Considering how much you have to play, I'd have really liked to have had those premium days earlier, but maybe this is Wargaming looking as if they're going to be generous when they realize that after people have played so much World of Tanks over a 10-day period, then the last thing that they really want is extra premium time. Of course, it's nice for all of the players out there that like to stack it up and they consider themselves a very dedicated player, not the free-to-play players who feel that they absolutely must play whenever they have premium time on their account. So now I want to take a look at the missions for mastery, your opportunity to be able to play your tier 9 and tier 10 tanks and progress up quickly depending on how good you are at the game. So at stage 1, you're going to have to get a high caliber. I personally think I'm going to be able to get a high caliber once in every 6 games. And I actually think that that's probably going to take me longer than just grinding out 3,000 experience if I was to play any of my vehicles. So stage 1, I would recommend that you at least give it a go in a tier 9 or tier 10 tank. Maybe you have the game of your life or just a good game early on and you get lucky and you get to skip the grind. But I wouldn't be too hopeful about getting high calibers when there will be so many sweaty players playing their tier 9 and tier 10 tanks, try-harding their pants off to try and get as much damage as they can. And I think for the majority of players, you're going to end up grinding that 3k before you end up getting the high caliber. But good luck to you. All right, stage 2, top team damage times by 2. That actually sounds pretty easy for me. I think that will save me a lot of time. In fact, I'm thinking it's going to save me 60% of the time if I decide to do the missions for mastery rather than do the missions for commitment there, as you're going to have to grind out 6,000 experience otherwise. Stage 3, 850 base experience times by 3. Now, what not a lot of people think about when it comes to base experience is that you kind of have to win unless you get a hero medal for it to count. And so that instantly makes it a lot harder. Even you have to have a good game and you have to win as well. I think this is personally going to take me about 6 games, which will actually mean that it will save me about 60% of the time compared to the 9,000 grind that you will have to get through at stage 3. Okay, stage 4, top team damage times by 4. I think it'll take me about 8 games, and I think this is definitely one that I would recommend players to try and do, either at tier 9 or tier 10. Try and get on the top of the damage of your team, and you will save yourself a huge amount of time, because stage 4 actually requires 18,000 experience to be able to grind through. All right, stage 5, you have to get 4,000 damage 8 times while also winning. I think that this is the cutoff point where it starts to become a little bit more tricky to do the missions for marathon, well, the missions for mastery, at least for me. I estimate that it's going to take me just shy of 4 hours to be able to do that, saving me about 32% of the time compared to grinding it, which will be 30,000 base experience. Stage 6, top team damage times by 18. Do you notice how much harder the stages get? That would be enough to complete stage 4 4.5 times over. It's bizarre to me that Wargaming are really ramping it up with the difficulty, and that they've got some of them that are pretty straightforward and some of them that are actually quite gnarly. And so that's why I think that I'm probably only going to save about 31% of the time if I try hard and I play my vehicles like my Concept 1B, or I'm playing my tier 10 tanks, and I'm probably going to end up grinding through the 32,000 credits in about 30% more time if I wanted to make my way through there. The next up is going to be an incredibly frustrating one. High caliber times by 6. I personally wouldn't recommend doing this. Again, there will be lots of people super try-harding, which makes it very difficult when you're trying to get that one spot. So one person out of 30 could possibly get a high caliber. And when everybody's going to be try-harding, grinding their tier 9 and tier 10 tanks, it will be a tough thing to do, but I'll probably still give it a go, maybe. But when I find that I've already grinded through about 30 or 50% of the stage, and I've only managed to get 1 or 2 high calibers, make sure you call it quits and just play your high experience tanks after that. Otherwise, you could end up making the grind even longer, if that makes sense. All right, stage 8, you have to be top damage in the entire game. And you have to get 3,500 damage as well, 14 times. I think that is going to take me about 56 games to be able to complete, i.e. I can do it probably 1 in 4 games. And I'm predicting that it's going to take me just as long to do that in my tier 10 tanks than it would to be able to just grind my tier 8s or alternatively my tier 9 reward vehicles. So I thoroughly recommend when you start to get through stage 8, 9, and 10 that you should only do the missions for mastery if you truly want to just give yourself like a little bit of a challenge to make the monotony of the grind a little bit less. Personally, you might as well, even if you're an incredibly good player, just grind your tier 8 premiums or alternatively your tier 6 crew trainers to be able to get through it, and you're going to make way more credits than you would do tryharding, firing loads of gold rounds to try and squeak up your damage as much as you can. And that's because stage 9 requires you to be top team damage, just a casual 30 times. And stage 10, this is ridiculous, top team experience 40 times. Even if I do that 1 in 2 games, it will require me to play 80 games of World of Tanks, which I think will take me about 9 hours, which is pretty much just as long as the 10 hours I think it will take for me to grind through the 53,000 experience. So all in all, this means that if you decide to grind, it is going to be 262,000 experience. So the next part of what I've broken down here is how long it will take a player, depending on how much base experience they average, to be able to grind through this mission marathon, how many games you're going to have to play each day and how much time you're going to have to play each day. So if you average 100 base experience, yeah, I think even a bot can manage to do that. You're going to have to play 5,200 games total. That's 524 games of World of Tanks each day. And if each game lasts about 6 minutes, then that means that you're going to have to play 52 hours of World of Tanks every single day. Not possible. Not possible. Not possible at all. I don't know why I'm so surprised. I've done this a few times already. All right. Let's say that you average instead about 300 base experience. Then you're going to have to play 1,456 games, 146 games every day. That's playing for 14.5 hours. Now let's go up to what I feel I average if I'm playing stock tanks or if I'm starting to play like okay on my free-to-play account. I can get 600 average base experience. I'm going to have to play 582 games of World of Tanks. That's 58 games every day. And I estimate that's just shy of 6 hours every day, even for me playing on my free-to-play account, unless I'm playing my really good tanks. Sometimes when you sit down, you actually want to make progress on vehicles that aren't just your best ones, right? If, however, you manage to get 800 average base experience in every single one of your games, and I managed to get that on my main account when I feel like I'm playing okay or good in vehicles that are half decent as well, then you're going to have to play 39 games of World of Tanks every day, and that's 4 hours of grinding. So next I want to guess how much money you could, in theory, save by playing rather than straight up paying to be able to skip the stages. Well, if you play stage 1, and remember you're only going to have to actually grind yourself out 3,000 base experience, that's going to save you €6, $6, whatever the package is going to cost, unless Wargaming make it very much more expensive. And so you're going to be making, in theory, about €10.50 an hour if you invest that time. Stage 2, you're probably going to get about €5 an hour by playing rather than paying. But as we can see, it starts to get way, way, way worse. We're at the end in stage 10, considering you're trying to save €6, and it's going to take you 10 hours to be able to save €6. You're making 59 cents every hour that you're playing. Yeah, that's a little bit brutal. Accordingly, I thoroughly recommend that even those of you out there who absolutely, utterly want to have the tank really quickly, at least on day 1, just play the game for an hour or two, manage to at least complete the first 2 stages, preferably the 3rd stage as well, possibly even the 4th if you're very dedicated and you can manage to play well in your tier 9s and tier 10s, and you're at least going to save a big chunk off the price tag, and you're also going to be able to enjoy the possibility to earn your discount by playing every single day to be able to get that special style. Now, a lot of you might be looking at this experience total of 262,000 experience over 10 days as being quite a tall ask. And yes, it is. I have all of the estimates for all of the different challenges here. And as you can see, the STRV K is the hardest challenge that Wargaming have ever done, beating the Renegade and the Object 274A that were previously the most difficult challenges to do. The STRV K, to put it into perspective, is 5% harder than the Kampfpanzer challenge. You have to grind that extra 12,000 experience, but you have no extra time to be able to do it. So now that you all know exactly how much you're going to have to play every single day, and also which stages I recommend trying to do the mission for mastery and which stages I thoroughly recommend grinding instead, as well as the rewards, do I have any advice? Okay, so if you undertake this challenge, it's very important to be methodical and determined with spending your time on each and every day. If you get behind, it'll be incredibly challenging to catch up, because you might end up getting very frustrated, you'll get angry, you'll end up playing worse, and you'll end up wasting even more time. Clearly, Wargaming really don't want to give you this vehicle for free, and they want to make your life as difficult as possible for the final few stages, so everybody ends up spending, 7, 14, 21 euros on the tank, because they say enough is enough, I've put some time in, I've earned a discount. And if you do manage to get through 6 or 7 stages, then I think that it is a pretty darn good price to be able to get the tank. However, one thing that I'd like to clarify is that spending this amount of time every day for a 10-day period playing video games is probably not healthy unless you're enjoying the game as well. Quite often what these mission marathons will do is they will end up feeling like work for players. And if you feel like you're working at a game, I've heard stories of players completing the marathon and then ending up just not really either enjoying the tank because of the time that they felt that they had to spend too much of to be able to get it, or alternatively even just going cold turkey on the game, and because you've wired it up as that kind of work in your mind. Another thing I'd like to clarify is that this is obviously an exciting tank because it's the first tier 9 premium, but just because it's the first tier 9 premium, I can tell you it doesn't really do anything different to other tier 8 premium tanks, except the bond income. Is it worth spending a huge amount of money to be able to upgrade your tier 8 tanks? Probably not. And so accordingly, is it worth investing a huge amount of your time if you don't have any money right now in being able to get this tank? Maybe you want to try and enjoy the final dregs of summer. I mean, we don't really get it because I live in the UK and all, but maybe you're living in a nice country. Maybe the opportunity to be able to get outside after being hemmed in for so long might be more important than staying inside and playing World of Tanks. Alternatively, if you're having to be at home, then I think this is a pretty good opportunity as well. Just remember that while I sit here getting excited by tanks, I'm just into them. Don't let my excitement encourage you to spend so much time on a video game, especially if you're trying to work towards other more important things. Wargaming are frankly trying to encourage unhealthy gaming practices with these mission marathons to try and get you to try and turn you into a paying customer who wants to spend some time on the challenge, but then doesn't have quite enough or the drive to be able to get through the final few stages. But then you feel like you've sunk some time into it, so you get your credit card out anyway to just put a few coins into it. On the other hand, I think I would be doing Wargaming a disservice if I didn't think that this was also a pretty cool opportunity for people to get one of their new tier 9 premium tanks. And I still think that a mission marathon where everybody gets to grind it is better than it just going into the game with some flat price tag. So that's it for today, ladies and gents. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful for you to see exactly how long the stages are going to take and which ones you should try and focus on your tier 9 or your tier 10 tanks. If it was, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, and if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments whether you are going to be undertaking this challenge and what you think about this look of the style, and also with Wargaming's continued collaboration with Sabaton. Awesome. Also, I'm going to be doing this mission marathon on my free-to-play account. I have to have it. I have to have this one on my free-to-play account. So I'm going to be streaming pretty much every day for the next 10 days, apart from Saturday, because it's my father's birthday, and I'm going to go and spend the time with him instead, as you all probably should. Wait, not spend the time with my dad, but he's a lovely guy. But spend the time with your family rather than sweating it out in World of Tanks all day long. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Good luck to all of you if you're going to be undertaking it. But please, remember, just pixels in a video game. Think about what really matters to you. Hopefully I'll see you soon.